The man simply touched the electric scooter. He never expected that the very next second, the dilapidated electric scooter would transform into a Mercedes Maybach sedan. The man thought he was hallucinating, so he walked over to the electric scooter nearby. He touched the metal chain on it again. To his surprise, the chain actually turned into a gold chain. The reason the man possessed this ability was because he had unexpectedly encountered a phoenix the day before. Before the man could even react, the phoenix suddenly fell from the sky. Just as he was about to leave, he discovered a beautiful woman lying right in front of him. Curious, the man stepped forward to take a closer look, but the moment he touched her body, the next second, the woman actually slipped right into his right hand. This granted the young man the ability to turn trash into treasure. The young man was overjoyed with his newly acquired superpower. Now that he had superpowers, he'd never have to go to work again. The young man then happily headed to the restroom, but just as he was about to unbutton his pants, a cool, clear female voice suddenly warned him not to use his right hand. This startled him, but there was no one else around, so he went ahead and tried to use the restroom. But just then, a beautiful woman glowing red stopped him. The man immediately recognized her as the phoenix he had met before. After talking with her, he learned that she was a phoenix who had suffered severe injuries due to a failed evolution. She needed to absorb the energy of money to survive, and the only way to collect that energy was to make money. If the man refused to help her, she would take back his powers. Hearing this, the man immediately smiled and agreed to her request. Little did he know she would ask him to earn $1 million first. To complete her task, the man immediately took the upgraded gold chain to a jewelry store. The owner, upon seeing its stunning quality and weight, offered a staggering $1 million on the spot. With the check in hand, the woman comfortably absorbed her first dose of energy. Then, to reward the man, she materialized right inside his car. She immediately upgraded the power in his right hand once more. Now he could not only upgrade solid objects, but even liquids. So he casually picked up a bottle of ordinary tea, touched it with his right hand, and it was upgraded into top-grade Da Hong Pao tea worth $1 million. But before he could even celebrate, the woman announced she now needed $100 million worth of energy. This came as a huge shock to the man. He casually grabbed a nearby pack of tissues to wipe his sweat. To his surprise, the pack of tissues turned into a top-grade agarwood box. Determined to complete the $100 million task as soon as possible, he immediately went to an antique shop. When the shop owner saw these two rare treasures, he was so shocked he assumed some rich kid was just trying out the high life. He immediately offered $4 million to buy them all. But just as the man was about to leave, he accidentally knocked over a bottle of ink nearby. Watching the shop owner approach the tissue, the man suddenly remembered the ability he'd just acquired, so he immediately grabbed the spot stained by the ink. To his surprise, the ink had transformed into a top-grade ink stick worth $3 million. When the shop owner saw the ink stick, he immediately offered $3 million to buy it. The man readily agreed to the deal. Later, when the man went to a restaurant to eat, a drunk suddenly knocked the water out of his hand. Looking at the water on the table, the man recalled how he had previously turned ink into a top-tier ink stick, so he immediately tried to upgrade the water on the table. But to his surprise, the half cup of water was upgraded into a flawless sapphire. Then the man picked up the rice next to him, and the bowl of plain white rice was also upgraded into a bag of dazzling diamonds. So he went back to the jewelry store owner. This left the owner speechless with astonishment. He immediately offered $18 million to buy the sapphire and diamonds. This instantly boosted the man's total assets to $26 million. However, just as he was walking out of the jewelry store with the check in hand, he ran right into his materialistic ex-girlfriend. His ex-girlfriend was arm in arm with her best friend, and unleashed a barrage of merciless taunts at him. She called him a penniless loser who would never amount to anything, but the man couldn't be bothered to argue. He simply handed her the check in his hand with a calm demeanor. His ex-girlfriend was stunned when she saw the $18 million check. She found it hard to believe he was actually that wealthy. Just then, a self-driving Mercedes worth tens of millions pulled up smoothly in front of him. The smart system respectfully addressed him as master. This was none other than his upgraded electric car. Seeing this, the ex-girlfriend and her best friend deeply regretted their actions, but the man had already driven off. To reach his goal of 100 million yuan faster, the man set his sights on the more profitable antique market. To test whether he could upgrade antiques into genuine artifacts, he immediately went to a street stall to buy some. Seeing his plain clothes, the vendor tried to rip him off. He tossed out a copper coin and demanded $10 for it. The man immediately covered the coin with his right hand. To his surprise, the coin actually transformed into a genuine artifact. Delighted that his ability had been verified, he immediately paid the vendor $10. Seeing that the young man was so clueless, the vendor immediately pulled out a glass bead and claimed it was an ancient night pearl. Seeing this, the man immediately prepared to buy the night pearl. Just then, an antique master and his granddaughter also arrived at the stall. They kindly warned the man not to be fooled, but the man didn't listen to them. He paid on the spot and bought the glass bead. The expert and his granddaughter both thought he was crazy, but just as the man was leaving, he accidentally dropped the copper coin on the ground. Seeing this, the expert immediately called out to the young man. He said he wanted to take a look at the coin. After examining it closely, the expert discovered that it was actually a rare out of circulation ancient copper coin, and there were only 5 of them in the entire world. So the master immediately offered $10 million to buy it. Seeing this, the man readily agreed, but the greedy vendor then tried to back out. He claimed the man had taken the wrong coin, and demanded half the money. The man didn't get angry. Instead, he made a bet with the vendor on the spot. If the night pearl was fake, he would pay the vendor $10 million. If it was real, the vendor could not cause him any trouble. Everyone thought the man was bound to lose. However, when the man took out the glass bead, it instantly burst into a dazzling glow. This stunned everyone.